In problem 3-2, we're going to run the return on assets ratio, the return on equity ratio, and the profit margin ratio. So we'll start with the first one where it asks us, what is the return on assets? And so what I'll do is I'll write out the formula. Return on assets. And an abbreviation of this is just ROA. And the formula is your earnings after tax, sometimes referred to as net income, and divided by total assets. So the question says the reported net income is $55,000. So I'll put that in here, $55,000. And my total assets are $750,000. And so when we work that out, 55,000 divided by 750,000, and I'll just round this to 2 decimal places. So that gives me 0.0733, and it asks us to solve it as a percentage. So you can just multiply that by 100 or just hit the percentage button. And then that gives us 7.33%. Now the next question is return on equity. So the formula for return on equity is your earnings after tax and divide that by shareholders' equity. So in this question, it doesn't tell us what the shareholders' equity is, but I can solve it by using the accounting equation. So if you remember from accounting, assets equals liabilities plus shareholders' equity, and liabilities is also debt. So if the question said I have $750,000 of assets and $300,000 of debt, assuming that's your liabilities, then my shareholders' equity is just X. So you can solve for X. So I'll do 750,000 minus that over on that side. So the answer, the shareholders' equity answer, is 450,000. So now I can go ahead and take our earnings after tax of 55,000 and divide that by our shareholders' equity of 450,000. So that gives us a return, 55,000 divided by 450. And we'll express this as a percentage to 2 decimal places. So that gives us a return of 12.22%. And the last one is the profit margin percentage. So our formula for profit margin is our net income divided by our sales. So then I look at this question and it says nothing about net income, but it starts telling us the answer to the asset turnover ratio. So then I know if I work backwards, I can get one of those numbers. So asset turnover ratio. So the formula for this one is your sales divided by your total assets. So I don't know what my sales are, so I'll just call that X. I do know that my assets are $750,000, and they told me that. And then I know the answer to that is 2.2. So they said the asset turnover ratio is 2.2. So I'm just going to do bunny ears. That's how I learned how to do math. And so then X equals 750,000 times 2.2. So then X equals 1650000. And remember, X is your sales. So now what I can do is put my sales into the profit margin equation. So I'll just move back up here where I have the profit margin, and the net income was $55,000. And then the sales was the number I just calculated, 1650000. So then that will give me and I'll put this as a percentage to 2 decimal places. So that will give me 3.33%. And remember, when we're reading the ratios, it's always one of the bottom will give you the answer of the top. So $1 in sales will get me 3.33% of the net income.